What is up, y'all? It is Jerry from Team Unco Studios, back with the final episode of the little 3-part episode we have of adding dynamics to our project in MPC Beats. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look down on the screen here. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump right back into what we were doing here so we can kind of keep our workflow, okay? So if you notice here, we had the air par already on to kind of add some EQ to our kick, right? So we had that little bit of a dry, kick. So we added a little bit of depth with some, lows and just kind of brought them out a little bit, right? Then with the compressor, we kind of went in and we squashed some sound down, brought up some output and just really got a really like boomy kick, right? And obviously, like I had said, it was on purpose, okay? I know that's not typically or ideally the way you would have a kick, but I want it to be extreme so that you guys can get the idea of the, what it sounds like, all right? So let's go ahead and hear the kick just by itself. Okay. Okay. And let's go ahead and drop the EQ out. Now here's just the compressor. Let's drop the compressor out. Okay. All right. Okay, and we could probably go through and mess with the, air par EQ, probably bring some levels down there, because the compressor actually doesn't sound bad just by itself, right? But we're not even going to do that. Let's just go ahead and just keep this trucking along, and let's go ahead and add some reverb, all right? Now, I like reverb in my drums personally. Some people I know like to keep their drums pretty dry without any reverb or anything like that, but I personally like a little bit of reverb in my drums, all right? So we're going to add a little bit of reverb in this kick to really kind of just complete the whole thing, and then we'll listen to it with the track and just kind of, listen to everything in and out so that we can get an idea of what everything sounds like, without any inserts on it, and then what it sounds like with inserts on it, okay? So under, that same window there in my inspector and right under where I have the compressor, I'm going to go ahead and go to that arrow again. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my delay and reverb here, okay, folder, and I'm going to open this up, and let's go ahead and just add something like, let's go a medium reverb, so it's not super crazy, right? But you're going to get the idea. So let's go ahead and open this guy up here. And so we've basically got this right here. Okay. So I'm going to briefly go over what this says, right? But you're going to get the idea. Obviously, when you hear this right now, there's going to be a lot of reverb. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just play it. Okay. So that obviously sounds like somebody's, on a stage somewhere in a big room hitting a kick, right? So what we can mess with on this kind of little piece of hardware here, our digital hardware, is the wet and dry here and the decay, right? Like how much of that we're going to kind of cut out, and where we're going to be cutting it out, all right? That is what the decay is, okay? And then we're also going to kind of mess with the low cut and the high cut because we want a low end reverb, right? Because we're working with the kick, okay? So we're going to put a little bit of a high cut there and kind of cut out some stuff and bring the low cut down as far as we can. So we're not cutting any of the low end out, okay? So let's go ahead and listen again. Okay, so I'm going to start with this wet dry here, and I'm going to come all the way down. Obviously, now you see we have nothing. Okay. So what the wet dry does is the wet dry is telling you how much of the dry signal, which is this right now. Okay. Because remember, we're already coming through 2 inserts right now. Okay. So how much of that dry signal do you want with the reverb? Okay. And so the more that we turn this up, obviously, the more reverb we get, okay? So we could simply just do that until we're satisfied and we'd be good to go, okay? But we're gonna mess with some of this other stuff a little bit, all right? So if you go ahead and just put this back up, and now we're gonna hit this defuse, and we're just gonna go extreme with it, okay? So that defuse is kind of like, it's kind of giving it a little bit of reverberation back and forth, if you can hear. It's kind of a little bit hard to hear, but that's what that's doing. So I think just leaving it right at about the 50 there should be fine. So now here's your decays. Okay, so if you notice, the reverb is there, but that decay of the room is not, right? We've taken it out, okay? So we could also add just a little bit of decay here back in, and now kind of start take out some dry, wet and dry there. See, so now it's starting to add some depth, right? As opposed to just sounding like a kick far away in the room, right? It's kind of you're starting to like control the sound now, okay? See, this is actually sounding nice. Like this sounds like a really nice kick, okay? So let's go ahead and get out of there, and let's now play our track with nothing in it, okay? So let's go ahead and start taking all this out, and now let's play our track with nothing in it, the whole track together, okay? Okay, so that's what the kick sounds like with nothing on it, all right? And it sounds okay. I don't mind it. But now when you start to hear the stuff coming in, you're going to notice a big difference, okay? So let's go ahead and play it again, and I'm going to start with the air para, and then you'll see me working down the line here, okay? Here we go. Okay, and you could hear it right there where I'm taking things out in the reverb, and you can hear where it's changing the sound there, okay? And I'm really liking the way that sounds. Now let's just go ahead and take these first two out and just listen to what the reverb is doing, okay? Just the reverb by itself. So there's not very big of a difference there, right? Let's go ahead and solo, right? So it's giving it character, right? But it's not giving it volume. Okay, so that is the one major thing I want you guys to understand is just because you're adding an insert doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get volume. You could just get what that insert's purpose is, like the reverb, right? I didn't ask for a lot of volume from it, right? I'm just wanting to hear a little bit of that reverb in there, right? So now let's go ahead and add the compressor with it and listen. This is the compressor and the reverb, okay? So now you can hear that it's controlled, right? So let's take the compressor out. Now here comes the control, right? With some volume. See how it's catching it and it's controlling the sound now. And now we're going to really add some EQ volume on the low end with our EQ, right? And we're just going to be boosting everything right here. You can hear the boost, okay? So and again, like I said, we could probably take some of this down, right? Probably take some of this down a little bit. So that's what we have in a total, okay? We've kind of got all these, inserts here where our signal is coming from here, from our sample. It's coming down the line here. It's hitting our air para. It's going into our vintage compressor, and then it's going into our medium reverb, and then it's hitting our track here where we are volumizing it, right? We're adding how much we want, or we can add none, right? So we add and find where's a good level, and then we bring our stuff back in. Okay, now we take stuff out. Okay, and now we just gave it, we're just giving it character. That's it. That's all it is, And you can hear in there too, there's like a little bass line there that goes bam, bam, where the two hit simultaneously. You hear the difference there. The kick kind of sounds a little bit more creative on that part with all the inserts in than it does with the inserts out. Okay, so that's basically it, y'all. That's the 3-part series there. We hope you enjoyed, and hope I was able to get as much stuff explained to you as I possibly could. Please, if I made any mistakes or anything, I'm not a genius. I'm just here trying to help people on YouTube understand how to work their way into the audio world using MPC Beats and other DAWs. You can use whatever DAW or, whatever piece of equipment you would like. And we will try to do our best to try to figure it out, or to help you all try to figure it out and ease your way into making sweet, sweet music. All right. So we have some more videos coming out. I do want to start talking about how to tune your drums. I know I had a question about that a while back. So I'm trying to go down the line again with answering questions about stuff. So we're just going to keep doing what we do when it comes to MPC Beats, very basic tutorials. All right. Peace and much love from all of us at Team Unco Studios, and we will catch you all on the next video. All right. Later, y'all.